We can now bring in our international affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert. Doug, what is it about Ceuta that, and its sister enclave, Melilla, that makes it a magnet for migrants?
Yeah, well, Delano, we heard a little bit in that report. Ceuta and Melilla, which is further south along the coast there, Morocco, they are tiny wedges of Europe, essentially attached to the northern African mainland. So they are the two places that have actual physical land borders, the only two places in Europe with Africa. Ceuta and Melilla are both economic magnets in the sense that in normal times, and by more normal times, I mean pre-COVID, because COVID forced the closure of borders. But you normally would have lots of menial laborers, day laborers coming over that border in order to work legally from Morocco into Ceuta. There's a very big day labor population and also some illegal economy going on as well. And the closure of the borders driven by the COVID pandemic last year really has led to, a lot of economic distress and perhaps more of these types of attempts to cross over now, as we see, illegally to get into to Ceuta by a lot of people. I will note that the Canary Islands, which obviously don't share a physical border, they're islands. You have to cross some Atlantic Ocean to get there. But the Spanish Canary Islands also have been, last year, over 20,000 Africans made their way to the Canary Islands. And in a couple of days alone, over 2,000, very similar to the sort of influx that we're seeing now with Ceuta. But what we can say is that, yes, the living standards there are anywhere from 6 to 7 times higher than right across that border in Morocco. So that economic disparity, the COVID pandemic, the hit to the economy from that, the distress that we're seeing, and also a lot of historical tit for tat, because these are Spanish enclaves to which Morocco has long had claim and see them as remnants of Spanish colonialism. So a lot of factors here driving it and making these very attractive magnets, as you said, for these migrants.
And Doug, what is Spain and more broadly the European Union doing to address the issue?
Yeah, well, they're up against the wall. I mean, we know, because we reported endlessly on it, that Europe over years and years, especially since the big surge of migration in 2015, 2016, through the Balkan route to Germany, when almost 1 million migrants came, there hasn't been a common European policy on migrants. Every country, the 27 members, they all seem to have be working in their own corners, having their own policies, some harder, some softer, and that is a big problem here. Spain, for its part, is right now, it has a socialist prime minister, Pedro Sanchez, who went to Ceuta himself to make his presence known and to say that he's going to do all he can to resolve this problem. It's his priority as soon as possible. But the problem is he's coming up against a shift to the right in the political landscape. It's in Spain, but elsewhere as well, Delano. And it's, conservative parties, Popular Party of Spain, and the far-right Vox Party, which made inroads in the recent elections there. All of these parties are forcing tougher rhetoric, tougher line on migration, making it harder for governments that might be inclined to take a more humanitarian approach to migration to get tougher in their rhetoric. And that's what we're seeing a lot of right now. So it's very tough for Spain, to take the humanitarian approach, and at the same time, as they're facing that sort of hard wall of far-right growing political opinion, anti-migrant opinion in Spain.
Doug, thank you very much for that. Douglas Herbert there.